Welcome students, let's continue chapter 5, Coordinate Geometry with problem set 5.2. Okay, so students, in 5.1 we have studied about distance formula, okay, to find the distance between the 2 points. Now here in this practice set we are going to study 3 different formulas. So first formula what we are going to study is the section formula. Now, what is a section formula? Before that, they have just recalled what we have studied earlier. That is the property of the intercepts made by 3 parallel lines. Okay. So, if given line P and Q, okay, and if there are 3 parallel lines, that is line L parallel to M parallel to N, and P and Q are the transversals, then the intercepts or these parts which are made because of due to the parallel line and the transversal, that is AB and BC and DE and EF. So when we take the ratio of AB and BC and ratio of DE and EF, they are equal. This we have studied earlier. Okay, now what is here they have given an example when a segment is divided. Okay, so given segment AB, if this segment AB is divided with the help of this point P, okay, how it is divided, that AP becomes 6 and PB is 10. Okay, this full AB is 16, that means, okay, and this AB which is 16 is divided as 6 and 10. Okay, now if they have divided AB and PB as 6 and 10, if we take the ratio of their division, that is 6 upon 10, so 2 3s are 6 and 2 5s are 10, therefore the ratio is 3 upon 5. The ratio in which AB is divided with the help of point P is 3:5. Okay, now this point P here, if we have to find the coordinates of this point P, we can find the coordinates of this point P with the help of section formula. So we will see what is section formula now. So here, if the given points A and B, for example, if we consider point A is x1 and point A, the coordinates are x1, y1, and point B, the coordinates are x2 and y2. Okay, and the coordinates of point P is x and y. Okay, and let us consider that the segment is being divided in the ratio M and N, because we have to consider in general formula. Okay, then in this case, if we have to find the coordinates of this point here, so according to the section formula, the coordinates of this point here are given as, if we have to find x is mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n. And if we have to find the y coordinate, it is my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. So in this way we will get the x coordinate and the y coordinate of the point which divides the segment. Okay, so this particular formula is called the section formula. So you need to study this, okay, and the coordinates will be written as mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n, comma, my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. Okay, so you can see here the section formula is written as, this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate of the point which we are going to find. So mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n, my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. And what is m and n? It is the ratio in which that segment is divided. Okay, now after section formula, if the given segment, okay, if the given segment is divided in exactly 2 parts, Now here you saw that this point P divides the segment in the ratio 6:10. So the ratio is not equal. The parts are not equal. Okay, here if you see, I have shown this with the similar signs. That means this point P divides the segment AB into two equal parts. Okay, so for example, if this is 2, this also is 2. So here the ratio, here the M and N what we consider is equal. Okay, so in this case, the M is equal to N. So in this case, if we take this as x1, y1, and if this we take as x2, y2, okay, and if this is x and y, and if we have to find the coordinates of this x and y, then how we'll find? That is, since this P acts as a midpoint. Okay, you all know what is a midpoint. A midpoint divides the segment into two equal parts. So here P is acting like a midpoint. P is a midpoint here. So P divides AB into two equal parts. So therefore, in order to find the coordinates of this point P, which is x and y, so to get the x coordinate, we have to use the formula x1 plus x2 upon 2. And to find the y coordinate, y1 plus y2 upon 2. And this particular formula is called the midpoint formula. Okay, so this is the first formula, this is the second formula, midpoint. This is the first section formula we studied, and this is the midpoint. What is the difference between section formula and midpoint formula? In midpoint formula, we have the midpoint which divides the segment. And in section formula, this is a point which divides the segment AB in any proportion. It's not that it should be equal on both the sides. It can be any proportion. Okay. So this is the midpoint formula. So this is the midpoint formula to find the x coordinate, x1 plus x2 upon 2, and to find the y coordinate, y1 plus y2 upon 2. Okay. Now moving to the third one, that is the third formula what we are going to study. Now if this is a triangle what I've taken here, okay, and you can see that I have drawn from the vertex to the opposite side. I have drawn a segment from the vertex to the opposite side, from the vertex to the opposite side. Okay, and you can see that I have shown this wherever it is meeting here. It is dividing the opposite segment into two equal parts. The segment which I have drawn from the opposite vertex is dividing this segment into equal parts. This segment is dividing into two equal parts. Therefore, these are the medians. Okay, these are the medians. Okay, now if I take this point as D, E, F. So point D, point E and point F. These are the midpoints of AB, AC and BC. Okay. Now, if they are the midpoints, if they are the medians, when the medians meet at a common point, it is a point of concurrence. Okay. The medians of a triangle are always concurrent lines, and this point G is the point of concurrence, and this point G is called as centroid. Point G is called as centroid. Okay, the point of concurrence of the medians is called a centroid. Now, here if we have to find the coordinates of this point G, if I consider that the coordinate of point A is x1, y1, if I consider the coordinates of point B as x2, y2, and if I consider the coordinates of point C is x3, y3. Then, in that case, if I have to find the coordinates of this centroid, Okay, when I don't know the coordinates of this centroid, I will find by the centroid formula. And what is the centroid formula? In centroid formula, in order to find the x coordinate of the point G, we will write x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3, and in order to find the y coordinate, we will write y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. Okay, so here I'll just try to mention here. So the x coordinate of this is x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3, and the y coordinate will be y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. Okay, so the centroid formula, in order to find the x coordinate and y coordinate, the formula is given as x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. Okay, so these three formulas we will need in practice set 5.2. Section formula, midpoint formula and centroid formula. So when there is a centroid, okay, when there is a triangle and they have given a centroid, we have to use this formula. When there is a line segment which is divided with a midpoint, then we have to use a midpoint formula. And if there is any point which is dividing the segment in any proportion, then we have to use the section formula. Okay. Textbook page number 112, they have given all the three formulas which we are going to use for practice set 5.2. Okay. With this we begin with practice set 5.2. Now the first sum in practice set 5.2, find the coordinates of point P if P divides the line segment joining the points A into bracket -1, 7 and B into bracket 4, -3 in the ratio 2:3. So what is given here, that is there are 2 points A and B, okay, and this point P divides the segment in the ratio 2:3. So what is 2:3? Actually it is m:n ratio, okay, is 2:3, and A and B are the points which we have to consider x1, y1 and x2, y2. Okay, and we have to find the coordinate of this point P, that is we have to find x and y. By using which formula you have to decide. Now there are three formulas. So first we have to decide which formula we are going to use. Whether we are going to use a section formula, midpoint formula or the centroid. Now it's not the P is not the midpoint because it is not dividing equal. Okay, there is no triangle. So we have to use section formula. Okay, so let's begin. Now here, first we have to consider what is x1, y1, what is x2, y2. Okay, so here the point P we have considered xy, point A we have considered x1, y1, point B we have considered x2, y2, and m:n is the ratio what is given there where the segment is divided 2:3. Okay, therefore here also I have mentioned so that the things become easier. What is x1, what is y1, what is x2, what is y2. Therefore by section formula, first we will write the formula. Okay, now separately we'll find x and y. Okay, if you want you can find it together also by writing the formula for x comma the formula for y. Okay, so in that case you have to write as I showed you earlier, or I can even show you here in the textbook. So in that case you have to write like this, and simultaneously you have to solve here x1, x and here y, okay, simultaneously, or you can even do it separately for your convenience. So first you will solve for x and then you will solve for y. So x formula we will write mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus 1. We substitute m as 2, x2 as 4 plus n as 3 and x1 as -1 upon 2 plus 3. Okay, 4 2s are 8 plus into minus 3 1s are 3 upon 5. 8 minus 3 is 5 upon 5, that is 1. Similar way we have solved this. Only one thing, it's very easy and simple. The only thing what you have to be careful is while substituting x1, y1 and x2, y2. in the formula, because sometimes it is confusing. So it is better you mention here at the top. Even if you want, you can mention what is m and what is n. So m is 2 and n is 3. So that when we substitute the formula, we can pick up from here very easily. Same way we have to solve for y. Okay, wherever there is a negative sign, see that you use the negative sign properly and calculate it properly. Okay, now we have got x is 1 and y is 3. Therefore, P, the coordinate of which point we wanted is P. We got x as 1, y as 3. Divides the line segment joining the point A, B in the ratio 2:3. This final answer is important. Okay, otherwise it is very simple if you learn the formulas. The first important thing is to learn the formulas. Okay, now we move to the second sum in problem set 5.2. That is, here you'll see in each of the following example, find the coordinate of point A which divides the segment PQ in the ratio A is to B. Now here P and Q is a segment. Okay, P and Q is a segment given. Okay, and there is point A which is dividing the segment in the ratio. Okay, now every time there are three sums. Every time the ratio is changing. Here first sum the ratio is 2:1. Second sum the ratio is 3:4. The third sum the ratio is 1:2. So we have to solve three different sums here, and the points are also given different. I'll be solving the first sum. I'll explain you the first sum. Second and third is for homework. Okay, it is again if you see the ratios they are not in same proportion, so there is no midpoint. If it was 2:2, then the point is a midpoint here. If it is 3:3, then it is a midpoint, or 4:4, then it is a midpoint. But you can see here there is no midpoint formula we cannot use. We cannot use a centroid formula because there is no triangle. So again here we have to use section formula only. Okay, now same method. Let the coordinates of point A be x and y, because A is the point which is dividing the segment. The segment is P and Q, and A is the point which is dividing the segment. So let us consider A as x and y. Then P we consider as x1, y1, Q we consider as x2, y2. Please see how it is written, and you have to follow the same steps. Okay, then A is to B is equal to 2:1. Therefore A is 2, B is 1. Now you all might be confused that in the formula we don't have A and B. In the formula we have M and N. So in this special case you can replace in the formula. I will show you how. So it is very important again to write what is x1, y1, so that for your convenience you don't make a mistake. Okay, and here also A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 1. Therefore we have to use the section formula. Now since in the given sum they have not given M and N, they have given A and B, we will change our formula to A and B. So wherever there is M we will put A, wherever there is N we will put B. So the formula becomes x is equal to ax2 plus bx1 upon a plus b. Now this you will not do every time. Only if in the sum, if the alphabets are changed, you will change the alphabet. Otherwise you will use the standard formula mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n, and for y, my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. Use the standard formula every way. This is a special case where they have given the ratio as a and b. So same way we are going to substitute 2 into 1 plus 1 into minus 3 upon 2 plus 1. Here substitution 2 into minus 4 plus 1 into 7 upon 2 plus 1. Just substituting the values, and 2 ones are 2, plus into minus is minus. 3 ones are 3 upon 3. Now 2 minus 3 is minus 1. This is simple integer calculation which we have studied in 6th standard, upon 3. And here minus 8 plus 7 upon 3. So here minus 8 plus 7 is minus 1 upon 3. Now we have got x and y coordinate which are same. So we'll write the coordinates of point A are minus 1 upon 3 and minus 1 upon 3. It can be that both the coordinates are same. Okay. Now we move to the third sum. Find the ratio in which point T, the point coordinates are given, divides the line segment joining the point P minus 3, 10 and Q 6, minus 8. Now we have to find the ratio. That means we have to find m is to n is how much. Okay, they have given us the, so what is the sum? The sum is the PQ is the segment and this is point T which divides the segment. Okay, the coordinate of P is given, the coordinate of Q is given and the coordinate of T is also given. But with what ratio is not given. So that we have to find. So let's see. Now, in this case where we have to find the ratio, we will consider this is point T which divides the segment. So this will be X and Y. As I showed you in the textbook also, this is point P, this is point Q and this is point T. So this T we will take as X and Y, P we will take as X1, Y1 and Q you will take as X2, Y2. Okay. So here that is what we have assumed. Okay, is written everything. After that, it's important that we mention this here. What is X1, what is Y1, what is X2, what is Y2, what is X, what is Y. The reason is you will not make mistakes when we are substituting. Bisection formula. Okay, now here we don't need to take both X and Y. Okay, I have taken only X because when we have to find the ratio m is to n, with one coordinate only we can, using X only we can get the ratio, and you'll see how. We will take X equal to mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n. Okay, now what is X? Point T. Okay, so that is -1. You can see here -1 X. So X equal to -1 equal to m we don't know, X2 is 6 plus n we don't know, so it is written, and X1 is -3 upon m plus 1, m plus n we don't know, we have written as it is. Now we solve here -1 and this what is in the denominator we shift to the other side. When it is divided, when it goes to the other side it becomes multiplied. Therefore I have written -1 multiplied by m plus n equal to 6 into m 6m plus into minus 3n. Okay, now we first open this bracket. -1 into m is -m and -1 into plus n is -n. So minus into plus minus. Now this we keep as it is. Now we shift m to one side and n to one side. So 6m, I have shifted m here to the other side. So this minus m becomes plus m. And this minus 3n, I shift to the other side, it becomes plus 3n. So you can see here plus 3n minus n. And now you can see here minus m I have shifted here. So minus m has become plus m. So it is just interchanging and bringing one alphabet on one side. Okay, now 6m plus m is 7m. 3n minus 1n. Okay, no number is there means 1. 2n. Now what we do is we bring alphabets on one side and numbers on one side. So it is multiplication. 7m and 2n is multiplication. When we do the interchanging, when we change, it gets divided. So this n, if I bring to the other side, it goes down, division. And this 7, when I bring to the other side, it is multiplied, it will be divided. So m upon n is 2 upon 7. So the ratio what we need is 2:7. So here we don't need to do the y thing. Okay, only with one x we have found. So no need of doing the y or using the formula for y. Okay, and the final statement, T is the point which divides the segment PQ in the ratio 2:7. I hope it is clear. Now moving to the next sum, that is the fourth one. Point P is the center of the circle and AB is a diameter. Find the coordinates of point B if coordinates of point A and P are given as 2, -3 and -2, 0. Now what is given? A circle and AB is a diameter. Okay, and P is the center of the circle. Okay, so this diameter passes through the center of the circle, therefore I have shown this. Now the diameter passes through the center of the circle and the center divides the diameter into two equal parts. So AP is equal to PB. In that case, P becomes the midpoint. Okay, and if P becomes the midpoint, if we have to find the coordinates of point P, we can use the midpoint formula. Okay, so here we have written everything. What are the coordinates? We have considered A as x1, y1, B as x2, y2, and P as x and y. Okay, and here if you see the B coordinate we have to find, here P is given and A is given, and we have to find a coordinate for B. So by midpoint formula, x is equal to x1 plus x2 upon 2 and y is equal to y1 plus y2 upon 2. So it is very important, children, to understand that which formula we have to use in which sum. Maybe you learn all the formulas, and if you are not able to decide that which formula we have to use for which sum, then there is no use. So here, as we know that P point acts as a midpoint to AB, here we can use the midpoint formula. Okay, and B coordinates we have to find. So x is our P. So the P point x is minus 2. So it is substituted. x1 is 2. Plus x2 we don't know. We don't know x2 and y2. x2 and y2 we have to find. Basically, we have to find x2 and y2, which is not given. So x2 remains as it is upon 2. Now 2 we shift to the other side. So minus 4 is equal to 2 plus x2. And when 2 is shifted to the other side, x2 is equal to minus 4 minus 2, which is minus 6. Same way for y. Y is 0 of point P. So 0 is equal to y1 is a coordinate. So y1 is here minus 3 plus y2 we don't know upon 2. 2 if I shift here, 0 into 2 is 0. And minus 3 when it is brought to the other side, it becomes plus 3. So y2 is equal to 3. So we got the coordinates x2 and y2 of point P. That is minus 6 and 3. Okay. And so we have to write the final answer. That is the coordinates of point P are 6, 3. Now moving to the fifth sum. Find the ratio in which point P, K, 7 divides the segment joining A, 8, 9 and B, 1, 2. Also find K. So there are two things what we have to find. We have to find what is K, and we have to find the ratio, means we have to find m is to n is how much. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so now let us assume that the point P, which is given as K, 7, divides the segment AB in the ratio m is to n. Okay, now we will consider that this point P as x and y, then point A as 8, 9, that is x1, y1, and point B as 1, 2 as x2, y2. This is generally what we do in the beginning of every sum. Okay, now after that, bisection formula. As I told you that we have to find K also, and we have to also find what is m is to n. Okay, now here I have taken y equal to, I have not taken x equal to. Okay, the reason is, if you look at the points, you look at the point P, which we have considered as x and y. In this point P, where it is x and y, x coordinate we don't know, which is K, and we have to find. Okay, whereas the y coordinate we know, that is 7. Now in this first thing, we have to find the ratio. That is, we have to find m is to n. If we take m is to n, if we have to find, and if we have to take x, then we don't know what is k. So we are not able to find even k, or we are not even able to find m is to n. So first our motive is to find m is to n. For that everything else should be there and m is to n can be found. Therefore we are taking y, because y coordinate we know, x coordinate we don't know. Okay, so we start with y, and as I told you, if we have to find the ratio m is to n, only one thing is enough. You don't need to do both the things. So we have taken y here. Earlier sum, when I have solved one sum, I have started with x, because there I knew what is the x coordinate. So here y is equal to m y2 plus n y1 upon m plus n. Okay, then we substitute. Y is 7, m we don't know, n we don't know. Okay, so this becomes 2m plus 9n upon m plus n. This we shift to the other side. So it becomes 7 multiplied by m plus n equal to, this we get equation. We shift all the m terms on one side, n terms on other side by just shifting. If it is plus, it becomes minus. If it is minus, it becomes plus. Okay, now we bring m and n alphabets on one side and number on one side. So n will come down. Okay, it is multiplied, it will be divided. And 5 is multiplied, it will be divided. So our ratio we have got 2:5. So first objective is done, that is to find a ratio. Now second thing is to find what is k. Now k is the x coordinate of point P. Okay, therefore here again bisection formula. Okay, here we take this point P as the point which divides AB in the ratio. Now we know the ratio. Okay, 2:5. So we take this point P as xy, A as 1 and 2, and x1 y1 sorry, and 1 and 2 as x2 y2. So this is the same procedure usually what we are doing. So P as xy, A as x1 y1, and B as x2 y2. Okay, now bisection formula here we don't need to take both the things again. Okay, because we are just concentrating on the x coordinate. Okay, we are just concentrating on the x coordinate of this point P. Therefore, x is equal to m we know, n we know x1 and x2. Okay, so here x, which is k, is equal to, we substitute, and then final answer we get k is equal to 6. Therefore, the ratio in which the point P, k, 7 divides AB is 2:5, and the value of k is 6. Now we move to the 7th sum, where we find the centroids of the triangles whose vertices are given below. So now centroid, when the word comes centroid, means there is a triangle and there are 3 vertices. So there are 3 points. You will see in all the 3 sums there are 3 points. The 3 points are given, which we have to consider as x1 y1, x2 y2, and x3 y3. And we have to find the centroid G. Okay. So as I told you, we will take all the 3 points. We will consider as x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3. And centroid formula is a very simple formula. We want both the coordinates, correct? Because point G we have considered as x and y. So we want both the coordinates, so we do both the things simultaneously. So we add x1, x2, x3 upon 3, and we get the answer x equal to 1. We add y1, y2 and y3 and we divide by 3, we get equal to 3. So the centroid coordinate of the centroid are 1, 3. This is very simple. Only thing is formulas are important. You should know the formulas and you should know which formulas you have to use in which sum. Now the 8th and 9th sum are for homework. Here also both the places you have to use the centroid formula. Okay, so the 7th sum, there were 3 sums. I have done 1 sum. The other 2 sums you all will try on your own. And 8th and 9th are also centroid formula. So you all will study that. Or I will just explain you the 9th sum, how to be, it is to be solved. Now what is the 9th sum? They have given 3 points, A, B and C. But in all the 3 points you will see that something is missing. Only B point, X and Y both is given. In A point the X coordinate is missing, which is given H. And in point C the Y coordinate is missing, which is given K. Okay, and they have given what is the centroid. They have given, we don't have to find the centroid coordinates. They have given, we have to find H and K. Okay. So now in this case we will consider the coordinates of A as x1, y1, coordinates of B as x2, y2 and coordinates of C as x3, y3. And the G is the centroid, which is x and y in the formula. So according to the centroid formula, we take the formula for x, we take the formula for y. This is just the formula. And we just substitute the values. X is 1. 1 equal to x1 h plus 2 plus minus 6 upon 3. And we go on solving, we will get the value of h. This is just a simple equation which we have solved. Same way y1 also, y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. So y equal to, y is 5, 5 equal to minus 6 plus 3 plus k upon 3. So again, this is a simple calculation. You will get h and k. So this 8th and 9th sum are for homework. 9th I have shown you how to be done. Now the 10th, 11th and 12th sum, they are quite similar. Now what is given in all the three sums? That they have given a segment, line segment, and that line segment is being divided into 3 parts, 4 parts and 5 parts. In the 10th sum, the line segment is divided into 3 parts. Okay. In the 11th sum, the line segment is divided into 4 parts. And in the 12th sum, the line segment is divided into 5 parts. They have given us the coordinate of A and B. And we have to find the remaining coordinates. For example, I'll just show you here in the 10th sum. This is segment AB. The segment AB is divided into 3 parts. So 1, 2 and 3 with the help of point P and Q. Okay, so point P and Q divides this segment AB in 1, 2 and 3. So this is the first part, this is the second part, this is the third part. Okay, we have to find the coordinates of P and Q. Okay, now you will see that each part, they are equal. Okay, this equal parts means if this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit. Okay, so if this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit and this is 1 unit, then when we have to find these points, okay, we have to use the section formula or we have to use the midpoint formula because there is no triangle. So either there will be section formula or midpoint formula. So now, for example, if we have to find this point P. So I will just explain you, pay attention and you all will do on your own. So now, when we have to find this point P, what will be the figure? This is point A, this is point B and this is point P. If we have to find this point P, A coordinates are given 2 and 7. B coordinates are given -4 and -8. We have to find this P. As I said that these are equal parts. 1, 1 and 1. So AP is one part and PB, okay, PB is PQ plus QB. So PB becomes 1 plus 1, that is 2 parts. So now if we have to find the coordinates of this P, the ratio of M is to N is 1 is to 2. And this will be point A, that is 2 and 7 will be x1, y1. And point B, -4, -8 will be x2, y2. Therefore, by section formula, we can find the coordinates of point P. I hope this much is clear. Okay. Now, by this method, you will get the coordinates of P. What are the coordinates of P? You will get from this particular calculation. Okay, once you get the coordinate of P, now we have to find Q. Now, if you look at this P and B and Q, P, Q, B, P, Q, B. Here we know the coordinates of P now from this first step. Okay, this first calculation. We know the coordinates of B and we have to find for Q. Now, if this is equal to this here, PQ is equal to QB means Q is the midpoint. So, in order to find the coordinates of point Q, we can use the midpoint formula. Okay, that is x1 plus x2 upon 2 and y1 plus y2 upon 2. So, in this way, we will get the y coordinate. Okay, now similar 10th sum, we have the 11th sum. I will show you the 11th sum. Now, if in the 11th sum, they have given A and B and we have to find the coordinates of the points where the segment is divided into 4 equal parts. Okay, now for the figure, we have to take a line segment, okay, and we have to divide that line segment AB into 4 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Why I have written 1, 1, 1? Because they are all equal. Okay, now when we have to find the coordinates of P, Q, R. Now 3 points we have to find. We have to find for P, we have to find for Q, we have to find for R. Now instead of finding for P first, we will go to Q. I will tell you why. Now if you look at point Q, if you see from Q to A and Q to B, there is an equal distance. From Q to A, the distance is 2, and from Q to B, the distance is 2. Okay, 1 and 1. That means Q acts as a midpoint. Okay, so AQ is equal to BQ. So if Q acts as a midpoint, we can use the midpoint formula to find Q. Okay, that is, if A becomes x1, y1 and B becomes x2, y2, by midpoint formula we can find Q. I explained you how Q becomes the midpoint. 4 equal parts. From Q, if you find the distance A, it is 2 units, and from Q, if you find the distance till B, it is 2 units. Okay, so now by midpoint formula, Q we can find, that is x1 plus x2 upon 2 and y1 plus y2 upon 2. Okay, here. So x1, y1 we have taken points A, and x2, y2 we have taken for points P. In this way, we will get the coordinate of Q. The coordinate of Q is -4 and -6. Now once we get the coordinate of Q, we got the coordinates of Q as -4 and -6. Okay, now you observe again when we have to find this P and R. Okay, now this point P is acting like a midpoint in between A and Q. So if you see distance AQ, from P, A and from P, Q, the distance is same. So now P is the midpoint of AQ. Remember, P is the midpoint of AQ. So if P is the midpoint of AQ, Q coordinates we have calculated just now. So this A becomes x1, y1 and Q becomes x2, y2. And we can find for P by midpoint formula. Similar way for R. Now from R, the distance of Q, and from R the distance of B. So now R is the midpoint of QB. If R is the midpoint of QB, we can use Q as x1, y1 and B as x2, y2, and we can use a midpoint formula to find R. So in this way, first we will find the coordinates of point P. Coordinates of point P by taking A and Q as x1, y1 and x2, y2. Okay, so here you will see the coordinates of P we have found, that is -9 and -8 by the midpoint formula. And then we have to find the coordinates of point R. Okay, where the Q and B point. Q point becomes x1, y1 and B points become x2, y2. So by the midpoint formula, we get coordinates of R as 1 and -4. In this way, we get the coordinates of all the 3 points, that is P, Q and R. Okay, so it is very simple. If you understand this figure, what I have explained, this figure if you understand, you are able, because formulas you already know, we have solved the sums using the formulas. So if you understand these figures, you can solve on your own. So when to use section formula, when to use midpoint. If that point becomes a midpoint of any two other endpoints, then you use midpoint formula. If there is no midpoint, now here there is no midpoint. If you see that P, okay, we have to find a distance, we have to find the coordinate of point P. And only A and B is known. So from P, A is 1 distance and from P, B is 2 distance. So 1:2. Okay. But once you get P point, in order to find Q, Q is the midpoint because from Q, the distance up to P. So then that time you leave this A point. Okay. That time you leave this A point and then from P is found here in the first step. Okay. From Q, the distance P and from Q, the distance B. Here you will see that distance is same. Therefore, for finding for Q, you will use midpoint formula. Okay. Same way the 12th sum I will just explain that they have given a segment AB which is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. Okay, and we have to find the coordinates of these points. So let us take this as point P, Q, R and S. Okay, now these are equal parts means as I told you that we have to mention 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. They are equal. Okay, now we just know this A and B. So initially when we are finding, we have to see if we can take a midpoint. Now P cannot be the midpoint of AB. Q cannot be the midpoint of AB because see, if we take Q, this side it is 2 parts, this side it is 3 parts. Again R, this side there are 3 parts and this side only 2 parts. And again S. So we don't, at least in the first calculation, we don't have any midpoint. So what we do is, first we will start from P. So if we want the coordinates of P, then we have to use section formula. We cannot use midpoint formula. And for section formula, we need the ratio m:n. Now what will be the ratio for, I will draw it separately if you want. This is point A, this is point B and this is point P, where AP is 1. But PB, P to B is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ratio of the point P divides the segment AB in the ratio 1:4. And what will be the x1, y1? Points A, that is 20 and 10, will be x1, y1. And point B, the point 20, 0 and 20 will be x2, y2. Okay, with this information we can find the coordinates of P. Once we get the coordinates of P, now we will go to Q. Now if we want the coordinates of Q, you will see here, we know the coordinates of A. In the first calculation, we will get the coordinates of P by solving by section formula. Okay, here we will use section formula. Once we get the coordinate of P, now P is the midpoint of A and Q. So here we can use the midpoint formula. Okay, here you can also use section formula. In order to do by section formula, what you have to do? Now see, this is A and B. And now we want to find the coordinates of Q. Now from A up to Q, how many parts are there? 2 parts. And from Q to S, how many parts are there? 3 parts. So here m:n is equal to 2:3. Okay, and A coordinates will be x1, y1 and B coordinates will be x2, y2 every time. So all the 4 points you can find by section formula also. Okay, or once you can do by section formula and other points you can do by the midpoint formula. So it is all up to you. If you understand the concept, if you understand the figure, we just have to find the coordinates using the formulas. So all the 4 points you can use by section formula, finding the ratio. When you come to Q, the ratio will be 2:3. x1, y1, x2, y2 will remain same. When you come to R, the ratio will be 3:2. Okay, when we come to point R, to solve for point R, the ratio will be 3:2. When you come to the point S, the ratio will be 4:1. Okay, in this way all the 4 points you can solve by section formula. So this also I have explained. You all have to do the calculation and complete the sum. After 5.2, the slope of a line, this topic is omitted. So we have only up to 5.2. 5.3 practice set, entire practice set is omitted. Okay, so we have only 5.1 and 5.2 for this year. So with this we have finished practice set 5.1 and 5.2. Please complete all the sums of practice set 5.1 and 5.2 in your notebook. Thank you and have a nice day.